Today is Monday, day 87, March 7th. I woke up this morning, but I had a lot of allergies, congestion. I was sneezing a ton. So I don't know if it was pretty windy outside today, so maybe with like pollen in the air or something. I sometimes get some allergies, so I decided to do it after work. And what was cool was when I got out of work, I was actually really looking forward to it. I was kind of excited and just, I don't know, it'd been over 24 hours since I'd done my last one, so I was looking at the live classes, and there was a Pussycats doll ride with Jess. Now, I'm not the biggest Pussycat doll fan. I mean, I don't really care, but see, that's the thing. I don't really care about the music. I mean, I like that it's different each time. So even if it's music that I'm not completely excited about, I can still get into it and into the moment and pushing hard. And the way I kind of ride is once I kind of get my legs under me and kind of build for the first 5-10 minutes, kind of gradually get my heart rate elevated a little bit. But once I hit a certain point where I feel comfortable and my legs aren't like loosey-goosey and they're kind of ready to go, I do pushes where I try to get my heart rate into the 160s, specifically like 163 plus, which is kind of that orange zone. So I used to go to a place called Orange Theory, and so they had these heart rate zones, and supposedly like if you get your heart rate into certain zones, you have what they call afterburn after the workout. So for me, it depends on your age. For me, 83% of my heart rate is like 163 to like 182. And once you start biking, it becomes harder and harder to get your heart rate elevated, meaning your body becomes more and more conditioned to the exercise. So what I have to do is push myself harder and harder, which is not easy to do because some days my legs just don't have it in them to get that heart rate elevated. But when I'm first starting out, my heart rate's so low that to push and to get myself up into that kind of 83 percentile range, I have to kind of be almost in the 300 watts for like extended periods of time, just to really kind of try to get that heart rate elevated. And it takes a while. Sometimes it takes several pushes in a row for me to finally kind of crack the 160s into the 163. And then once I finally get up there, then I can kind of keep getting up there a little bit more because you don't recover that low. Like my recoveries might put me down to about 150. So then I can kind of push harder. So I try to strive for like 10 minutes plus in the 163 to 182 range in each workout. And what I like about that is I get continuous feedback in a sense that, it's like I say, it's harder for me to what once was like, for example, when I first started, pedaling at 200 watts probably was enough to get my heart rate elevated. Now, 200 watts isn't going to necessarily do it unless I do it for a very extended period of time. So I have to just constantly push harder and harder. And I like to do some of them out of the saddle and some of them in the saddle. And so for me to get my heart rate elevated out of the saddle, I have to try to really kind of jog or bike at a faster rate than I'm used to, or go really high resistance. So one of the two, either way, are kind of different ways of doing it and both uncomfortable, and so I often do both. So I try to constantly change it up and do different varieties of workouts during each class so that I'm kind of working different muscle groups in my body in different areas and so on and so forth. So anyway, and it's also kind of nice. I like pushing past people on the leaderboard. So when you do go into those high intervals where you're really pushing hard, it's kind of nice to shoot up a few spots, you know? Sometimes then I drop a spot or two and then shoot up a few spots and then drop a spot or two. And so I think it's kind of, I like kind of going from the bottom of the leaderboard kind of up as high as I can get throughout the workout, as opposed to just starting, like let's say there's 150 people and I end up at 30th spot. It's more fun to me to start down at like 120s and then just gradually work my way up to number 30 than it is to just be at number 30 throughout the whole ride. So I mean, that might seem silly, but I don't know. I enjoy it more. So anyway, so yeah, great workout, a lot of fun, and got a awesome exercise. And I don't know exactly how many. I mean, I don't technically count the exact amount of minutes, but I do kind of keep track in my head. I'll be like, okay, there's a minute or two in the orange, in the 163 to 182. I keep on calling it orange zone, but just that for me, 163 to 182. But it's whatever at your age range, whatever 83% of your body, 83% of your heart rate is. Anyway, this video is kind of running long, so all in all, a great workout, and I will get up at 4:30 and do tomorrow's class. So, and at 5 a.m. I'll see you tomorrow.